Welcome back to Bedroom Convos. I'm your host, the Safa M. Daddy Wadipod, aka Future Short, and maybe you might get a chance to call me Daddy, like Cairo. Listen, on this week's episode, we are talking to NALEDI, therefore, or TEFFO. So I'll ask her a question around that event. So she is Miss Bachelorette South Africa 2024 semi-finalist. So NALEDI, you're sending?
Yes.
How do we go? Is it TEFFO or is it therefore?
You know what?
Because like I'm like,
TEFFO.
so like therefore.
Yes, TEFFO. But then growing up as schools and changing schools and people, they pronounce my surname wrong. They even spell it wrong, right? So I got to pronounce it as TEFFO so that people can be able to understand how to write it. Like it's TEFFO, TEFFO, and but TEFFO.
Oh, okay, no, I hear
Yeah,
that
it's TEFFo.
We just had to clarify that because like even on the first segment I was like, is it therefore or TEFFO? You know?
They're like TEFFO. The people will be like TEFFO, TEFFO, and I'm like, yo, guys,
it's a lot. It's a lot. No, I hear you. So before we went on the break, we were still talking about, you know, your journey in being a part of like the Miss Bachelorette franchise. And before we can move on, I just want to congratulate you for being a part of the semi-finalist. And you know, I'm going to post this. I'm going to flex that I know you. I know you X and post on Twitters, social media platform. You know, so yeah, back to this, you know, so for
thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, now that we're talking about that, so like how do people vote for you?
Okay, so voting is simple. You visit www.missbachelorette.co.za and then you go to 2024 semi-finalists.
Okay.
Once you get to the 2024 semi-finalists, you will find me at the bottom. I am contestant number 28, NALEDI TEFFO, and then you follow the prompt. So it uses PayPal, and I understand that a lot of people don't have PayPal. So what they can do is that they can go either on my Facebook or on my Instagram. There is an account number to send money on, and then I will update all the funds on Ventil. Ventil is the portal where we do the payment. So
oh, okay. So okay, I just wanted to ask this. You know, I wanted to ask this before we went on the break to say that, you know, being a part of Miss Bachelorette South Africa, what did you want to achieve initially when you entered?
You know what stood out for me is women empowerment and fighting against gender-based violence and femicide in South Africa. And understanding that is one of the biggest pandemic that we are facing in South Africa. We are losing a sister, a daughter every single day. And I've been asking myself, NALEDI, if you say you want to make a difference, you know, you want to build others, how are you going to do that? You understand? And so I was so grateful. I'm so grateful for Miss Bachelorette to have created this platform for me to have a voice, or to, you know, voice out my opinion on gender-based violence and femicide in South Africa, and also fighting against it. You understand? Just being, it's recognizing that you're saying no. You understand? Women are important. We are important, and not only for us as women, but also understanding that gender-based violence and gender-based violence also affects men. You understand? Because I do believe that there are other contestants that are focusing on gender-based violence from the men spectrum. And for me, I got so angry at going through social media and, you know, seeing rest in peace, Queen, rest in peace, Queen. And it's an ongoing thing. It has become a trend. And I'm like, if this is making me feel this way, what am I going to do about it? Because I can't stay with the feeling. And so I knew it is time for me to act.
Oh, no, I hear you. What do you think are some of the things that can be done to make sure that we reduce the GBV in SA?
Yeah, it's a tricky one, to be honest, because I, are we? I don't know if we are ready. You understand? No, and as a country, I don't know if we are ready as a country. But then what we can do is what Miss Bachelorette is doing is that create women empowerment platforms. Create leadership programs for women. So that there can be equality, because I think one of the things that we are dealing with is inequality. You get what I mean? And so it's bringing equality in workspaces everywhere else and removing this narrative of gender roles, because I think once we unpack that and understand who we are as people, we will live in harmony. I think that it's quite a tricky one, because I don't know if we are ready to have those conversations. As a country, are men ready to put us in spaces where we will thrive as women? Do you get what I mean?
Yeah. So like this is what I think, I don't know, you'll correct me on this. So I think a huge portion of the men, if you look at the story behind a lot of these abusive men towards women, you get to follow the story, you get to see the story begins at home, true. It begins at home. And I think for us to have a solution to this problem, we first have to rectify from the household on how these kids are bred up, to make sure we prevent this, because I think now it's harder for us to correct the GBV that's happening now on older men, but we can do it with the next generation men that's coming up, and I think
that's on point.
So I just wanted to get to you, do you think enough is being said about GBV in SA, and if we need conversations to say, okay, we need to talk about this, how do we rectify this? And if we need to bring in government to say, government, these households, we need to have responsible men, how do we achieve that goal as a country? Do you think we have enough of those conversations as South Africans?
I think we are trying, right? And also you are right as saying that the conversation should start with the little ones, because I did a talk with the school, with these school kids, and I was telling them that they are our future, or they are our solution. Do you understand? They are our solution, with how they grow up would be the reflection of how we view gender-based violence right now. And then with us grown-ups is that we need to prioritize healing. Because I do understand, this thing starts at home, as you mentioned, and so as adults, as adults, we need to self-reflect and ask ourselves: is this the life I want? Is this how I want my child to grow up? You understand? I always look at it in this way. I'm like, if I'm in an abusive relationship, do I want my daughter to experience this? Same applies with. I always ask that I ask myself that. I'm like, if I put myself in this situation, would I want my child to be in the same exact situation as I am? And if I'm uncomfortable with my response, then I'm in a wrong space. And I think people aren't self-aware, or they aren't truthful enough with themselves with answering these type of questions. And also when it comes to government, I think there's a lot that the government is not doing, and depending on them to solve this matter of gender-based violence, I don't know, we're just holding on to a feather. That hinges upon us to create platforms and spaces that, will create a safe space for you to come and talk about gender-based violence from a different perspective. Because I think other people, one thing I've noticed ever since I started this journey of Miss Bachelorette South Africa, is that people aren't aware that they are in abusive relationship. They think it's normal.
Yeah.
They think that this person being angry in this way, this person behaving in this way, this person speaking to them in this way is a reflection of love. They are showing love. That's how they express love. And I'm like, no, that's an expression of brokenness in there.
So like, why do you think a lot of
it's very sad.
Yeah. So like, I wanted to ask you a question. Sorry for interjecting there. So I just wanted to ask you a question. I do see a lot of women that, like you say, I don't know if you never can.
Yes.
So I'm saying these women and just by negative in a lot of ways.
Sorry, I can't hear you now.
Oh, you can't hear me now?
Yeah.
Yep. NALEDI?
Yeah, it's better.
Oh, it's better. So I was thinking, what do you think is the reason why just by so he knows because the reason those guys.
It's like the connection is bad because I can't hear a thing. Like it keeps on breaking in between, so I can't really hear everything else that you're saying.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Hello?
Okay. Yeah, I can hear.
Okay. Now let me hear the question, because as you go further, then I can't hear. So yeah.
Oh, I was thinking, like, do you think is the reason why men make excuse or like the in the relationship?
It's not understanding their self-worth. It's lack of self-love.
So how can we add women to understand self-care, like it is someone who does.
Hello?
Can you hear me now?
Oh, Jesus Christ. It's like it's breaking and it's like bad.
Can you hear us now?
Hello?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, but it's breaking.
I think because a bit of rain just like. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, Leserone, but then as you go further, it's breaking. Like I can't hear the whole thing that you're saying.
Now is it better?
Yeah, I think so.
So I was saying to you, like, how do you talk to them about to understand they wear what words about the and like how do you ask
Okay, the question, how do we make women aware of their self-worth?
Yeah.
Okay, so I would answer that by saying that allowing yourself to be vulnerable in knowing who you are. I'll keep on saying this over and over. Ask yourself deep questions. I think a lot of us don't know ourselves. We know ourselves from a reflection of others. You understand? And so what others tell us who we are, we now we start living that, but then we don't actually challenge ourselves to know ourselves for ourselves and say, who am I really? And who do I want to be really? And what type of experiences do I want to be in and put myself in? And once you have identified these, I think you will know yourself enough to not put yourself in spaces that are not good for you or that are detrimental to your health or your well-being. And so it is knowing yourself, reflecting, understanding why do you do certain things? Why do you engage the way you engage? Why are these conversations attracting you and not attracting you? And sometimes it is the brokenness in you that is attracting brokenness in other people. And so that's why we need to fix ourselves as people, not only women, as people, so that we don't put ourselves in detrimental situations that are unhealthy for us. So it's spending time with yourself. I think the important thing is spending time with yourself. There you will know who you really are once you spend time with yourself, because when you spend time with other people, they're gonna tell you who you are. They're gonna tell you what you like to eat, how you want to dress up, how you like to walk, how you see yourself, and that's not true, right? Like now, as a 27-year-old, there's certain things that I used to like or find myself in when I was 25, even last year. But then now I'm like, that's not me. I'm not part of that anymore. It is because I know myself. I know that situation is not good for me. I know my worth. I know that I am worth more than that situation.
Yeah, no, I see. For those of you just joined the case, when you come, yeah, cheers.
Cheers.
It was never bad at first. He was flawless. The man could sing your desires in perfect harmony. He knew what I wanted and showered it on me. I was so happy I showed him off to anyone I thought would be jealous of our love. The first time I heard ringing, my heart stopped like my brain had forgotten how to make it beat. It took about a minute for my entire nervous system to reset the presets, yet it couldn't pick an expression between shock and upset till I finally said, "Did you just hit me?" The guilt on his face, regret on the way he swore it was a mistake and promised to never do it again. After that, our lives became a seesaw with an imaginary scoreboard. Points to me every time he'd hit me, because afterwards he'd treat me like a queen. When I tried to hate him, he would have me believe that he was the victim.
Welcome back to Bedroom Convos. I'm your host, the Suffer M, Daddy Waddy Pod, aka Shoot Your Shot, and maybe you might get a chance to call me Daddy like Cairo. Listen, on this week's episode, we are talking to Miss Bachelorette South Africa 2024 semi-finalist in NALEDI for the TEFFO. We'll get to ask her more questions later on the show, but for now, let's welcome NALEDI TEFFO. How are you, NALEDI?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well. It's been a long time.
You know what? I was very surprised, and I'm like, could it be Mr. Hollisell? And when I enter your profile, it's you.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Yeah.
So then now I was told by someone saying like, yo bro, like NALEDI is doing something, I think you should do it. And I'm like, which NALEDI? NALEDI. Like, yeah, that's NALEDI the wrong thing. And I was like, oh, like snap. I'll just DM her and hear what she said. And thank you for pulling up. So yeah, for people who don't know, I actually know. So for people, for people who don't know, like I have a little bit of history with NALEDI, you know, so I guess maybe we'll talk about that some other time. But now we need to talk about Miss Bachelorette South Africa. How does that happen for you?
How did Miss Bachelorette happen for me? Interesting, right? So I'm on this journey of discovery. I am learning things about myself. You know, I'm trying to put myself in spaces that will help me grow, heal and evolve as a person. And so one day I was just going through Instagram what I love about Instagram's algorithm is that it will give you exactly what you want at the time that you need it, you understand? And so I was just scrolling through Instagram and I saw Miss Bachelorette South Africa ad, and they were talking about fighting against gender-based violence and empowering young women, and this pageant that is not specifically for slim people. It is for everybody. And I was like, this is very interesting. I've never done a pageant before, so perhaps this is my chance to make a difference, because also it's one of the self-discovery things that I'm doing. I'm on this journey of wanting to make a difference, with my voice, with my platforms and everything. And I said, let me give it a shot. And I got selected as a semi-finalist. So I was like, what? Yeah.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful, man. So for people who don't know, like people like me, because I do know that we also have like an audience which is male. So for them, if they want to know about what Miss Bachelorette is, in a few words, how would you describe the pageant?
Yeah, so a lot of people confuse it with the Bachelor or the Bachelorette. And so they're like, is NALEDI looking for a husband or what? And that's not the case.
And I was like, firstly, that I'm also one of those people. I was like, well, what's going on?
Yeah, no, good thing it's not that,
Yeah. It's a
good thing is not that. So, to explain Miss Bachelorette South Africa, it is a woman empowerment project that is presented in a pageant form. Its main is to fight against gender-based violence and femicide in South Africa by giving unmarried, mature, and independent women recognition and honor through philanthropy, fashion, and beauty. And I believe I am that woman, you understand? So they are not looking for a role model, they're not looking for a model, but a role model, somebody who is very relatable, to give them an encouragement of the importance of independence and self-sufficient as a person. Yeah.
I hear you. I hear you. I like one of the questions that I also wanted to ask, why does it say 2024 instead of 2023? Like, what's the story behind that?
Oh, there's a reigning queen right now, Lwandle Ngwenya. She is the Miss Bachelorette South Africa for 2023. And so we are running for next year. So the process starts now, and then the queen will be announced next year.
Yeah, okay, so like
so the reigning will be for next year.
Okay, so what happens to the current queen next year? What happens to her?
What happened? She is doing her part right now. She is doing her duties as we speak, and so she will give the crown. She will, giving the crown to the next queen, whoever that will be. Good luck to all of us. We are 65 away. So good luck to all of us. And so we would also have, I think each and every one of us have a story, or there is one specific thing that we want to bring forth, in terms of change. And so that will be based on what the queen of that year is focusing on. This year, Lwandle Ngwenya is focusing on making sure that everybody or every child understands the importance of self-love and self-care.
No, I hear you. So you just mentioned now that you're part of the top 60, right? So I want us to talk about like the selection process. So how does it work?
I wouldn't necessarily know the selection process, because like it's internal, right?
Yeah.
It's internal. And so what I did was I applied. There's a link. I applied. They asked us so many questions. Not necessarily so many questions, but they asked us like very, very important questions that were quite challenging. And I think that they wanted to understand where we are in terms of self-awareness and self-reflection, and what it is that whether or not we are on the brand, if I'm making sense, like whether or not we are on brand with what they are looking for. And so I think the selection process basically is based on the questions that we asked. Is this who we want to partner up with? Is this who we want to groom? Is this who we want to be our reflection or our voice? So I can't really say much on the selection process because I can't really tell what it is that they are looking for. But what I know is that they are looking for you as a person. They're not looking for a NALEDI that wants to look like somebody else. Like now, I cannot try to be Lwandle. Lwandle is the reigning queen. I cannot.
Yes. So guys, I think that we just got cut today. I don't know what's happening. NALEDI, can you hear us? So guys, for those of you who haven't followed us, subscribed and rate the show, please go and do that on any streaming platform that you listen to this podcast from. Go leave that a rating, because it does well for us as far as like their algorithm is concerned, and you also get a notification for each and every time we're dropping new episode. So I think we have slight, because I think it's from our end, because the rain is raining. There's rain outside. The rain is raining. There's rain outside. Maybe that might be the cause of like the interaction with the reception with NALEDI, but we'll make sure to get her back on the line from a different extension. So for those of you who haven't sent out questions, please do so we can ask NALEDI some of the questions that you have for her. And if I know there's people as well who would like to be a part of the pageantry, and I just like the fact that she is clarifying on some of the things that we didn't know. I personally didn't know about like the pageantry. But I still have a lot of questions, and I do have like some of the questions that we've compiled, because we were supposed to have this episode I think a week or two ago, so we couldn't. So we decided to compile a lot of the questions that you guys had, so we can ask NALEDI. So I think we have NALEDI back. NALEDI, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
I didn't get the last part. I think there was there was network interruption, so we couldn't hear you on the last part.
Yeah, so I was saying that what Miss Bachelorette is looking for is looking for a NALEDI, not a NALEDI that wants to look like somebody else. You understand? And so I cannot put myself in a position where I am doing everything that the current queen is doing. I can only be myself, because if I do that, it will run out. You understand? But if I put myself here and represent myself as myself, I'll probably do well. I think that's what they are looking for in this pageant. They are looking for you and not for anybody else but you.
Yeah, okay, no, that's interesting. I think having to interview some of the people that are part of like the top 12. Is it the top 12 now? I think it's happening tomorrow. The Miss World South Africa 2024 as well. Like finals are happening tomorrow, and we got to interview some of the people that are part of the competition. So I noticed that there was a criteria that you can't be married to take part in that competition. Is it the case as well with like Miss Bachelorette?
Yes. So Miss Bachelorette is focusing for unmarried women from the age of 25 to 50 years. So, yes.
Okay. So I hear you. So I just want to talk about, your take on mental health, because I do know like there's a lot, because I also know that you also have a business and you're pushing some of the content on social media, and I was like, the importance of mental health and self-care. Like I just want to get your perspective on that.
Yeah, that's a topic that I think it's quite a trigger to a lot of people. But I think the reason why it's a trigger is that they don't understand mental health. You understand? And I took mental health very serious when I listened to one interview of Lady Gaga with Oprah, and she said that Lady Gaga said that it's very important for us to make sure that we look after our minds, or our the head, because as much as we take care of flu. When you have flu, you're going to take all the medicine, you're going to stay in bed, you're going to drink lemon tea and everything. But why is it that when the brain is not okay, we don't take notice of that? And on top of that, we don't even know the symptoms. Yet we know the symptoms of flu or any other disease, you understand? And so I took that to into consideration, and I'm like, Lady Gaga is onto something here. And I noticed certain things within myself that were unhealthy, you understand? And so I had to now self-reflect and sit down with myself and ask myself very deep questions that, to be honest, I was not ready to answer. But then I knew that for me to be healthy and for me to be okay and for me to understand what is going on in my head, I need to ask myself these questions. And I did that, and I came to realize that I was very unhappy with myself. I was very unhappy with the friendships that I had. And those friendships also, they came about because they were safe spaces, or they were reflecting where I was or where my mindset was at the time, because they were quite unhealthy, they were quite toxic, you understand? And so that's where my mind was, and I was attracting that as well within my friendships. And so I had to also do that unpacking, and I understood that for me to love myself, I need to let go of things that don't build me, don't grow me, and don't make me become the woman that I want to be. And I think that's like a very tough thing to do. Self-love is very hard because you don't even you don't know how to take care of yourself sometimes. But then how you do that is by taking time with yourself, learn yourself, know yourself, and give yourself what you need, what your body needs, what your mind needs. That is self-love and self-care for me. And just unpacking what are we talking about? Sorry.
Mental health thingy.
Mental health. I want the word ran away.
Yeah. So, I think given that you just mentioned now that Lady Gaga was in an interview with Oprah, and I just wanted to bring it back home in South Africa. Do you think we are talking more about mental health now than we did before, or there's still room for us to still talk about mental health? There's people who are in the villages, rural areas, who still don't know who are not a little bit despised what mental health is or mental health awareness is. There might be someone who's going through that in the rural areas. Do you think we can still do more to enlighten people about mental health awareness?
Definitely. That's why I have my podcast, The Journey with NALEDI, TEFFO, and people can listen to it. It's available on Spotify as well. And the reason why I did that,
you can't just speak past that. You can't just speak past that. It's NALEDI.
The Journey with NALEDI, TEFFO.
The journey. No, we have to listen. The Journey with NALEDI, TEFFO.
NALEDI, TEFFO. Yes.
The podcast. The Journey with NALEDI. So yeah, I'm so sorry we took the step. I just had to write that down so I don't forget.
Yeah. So the reason why I did that is because, as I said, that I also went through depression, and I didn't understand that. And as a Christian also, I don't think we have a platform, a space where you can unpack these things, with other fellow Christians, because they'll think, I went out to my demon. And you're like, but I am feeling this way, or I'm experiencing this way. And so I had to create a platform as well, whereby I speak about these things as a Christian. You understand? And how they affect us and how we can get out of it. And as you unpacked, you mentioned rural areas. I also mentioned in one of my lives that it's very sad that when it was COVID, everybody knew. Even Ukoko from I don't know where knew what to do. You understand? They knew that they had to wear their mask, wash their hands, and sanitize. But when it comes to these important things, that mental health, there isn't enough spaces or platforms where we speak about these things. And that's why Miss Bachelorette is also taking initiative with also fighting against gender-based violence and femicide, because it's also part of mental health. I don't think it's normal for somebody to decide and go to rape something is pushing them within their head or their minds that is, making them behave in a certain way. So those are the things and that we need to focus on as people of this country. That's why we put ourselves in these spaces as individuals.
Thank you for that. So for people who just joined us now, on the line we have NALEDI TEFFO, I almost said Miss World. It's Miss Bachelorette South Africa 2024 finalist, NALEDI TEFFO. So after the break, is it quarter or semi-finalist? Semi-finalist. We'll be asking her more questions when we come back after the break. Cheers.
Cheers.
Welcome back to Backroom Convos. I'm your host, Lesego Daddy Wadiport, aka She's Your Short, and maybe you might get a chance to call me Daddy like Kanru. Listen, on the line we have Miss Bachelorette South Africa 2024 semi-finalist NALEDI TEFFO. We've had her for the past 30 minutes asking her questions regarding the pageantry. She's been enlightening us about gender-based violence and issues concerning mental health awareness, and before we went on the break, NALEDI, I wanted to ask you a question around therapy. Do you think therapy can be a tool that can be implemented to address issues such as mental health and gender-based violence?
Definitely. But one thing I've noticed about therapy, is that therapy? Is that these things, they only work if you say, I'm ready to unpack them. I hope I'm using.
Yeah, no, I get you.
They only work when you say, I am ready, I want change,
Yeah.
Because you going to therapy, chances of you going there, listening to somebody else tell you about your life, and then you don't go and put in the work and implement the things that you've learned, then what's the point? You understand? So it's going through the process and then taking the tools and actually implementing them. So that's the thing with me. When I went through depression and everything, I didn't go through therapy. I did therapy when I was young, due to other things. And also with that is that I could easily just go there and not reflect and not implement. Do you understand?
Okay.
But then this time is because I was seeking healing so bad, because it was terrible. The depression was terrible. Like, it got to a point where it became very suicidal. You understand? My thoughts were very dark, and so I wanted out. And it's that now you when you are in that path and on that road of saying you want out, are you ready to say, okay, fine, I want to start afresh? I want to actually understand why do I want out? Why do I want to do these things? What's pushing me to be like this? And so, also, once you find out what it is that you're going through, are you ready to now go through the process of healing? Those are the things that we need to ask ourselves as people, because you can go through therapy and not implement. You understand? And so implementation is very important.
I see. So, like, what are some of the things that you did when you were depressed, to get out of that state? Say, this is what I did. So for anyone who's listening, who's going through this phase, and
So with mine, it was very interesting. Is that I was holding on to so many things. I was holding on to a lot of unforgiveness, a lot of anger, and shame and guilt. And so I didn't understand those emotions. I think as people, we mix emotions, we mix anger with shame, we mix guilt with resentment. We mix emotions. So we need to teach ourselves or put ourselves in spaces where we learn what it is that we're going through. And so with me, it was very interesting because I have a business, I have a brand called Slipknot, right? Where I make crochet garments. And so I lost interest in my brand. And that was very worrying to me. I was like, why am I losing so much interest in what I love? And I also love reading books. And I'm like, I don't see the need of reading a book anymore. And when I would stay in bed the whole day and the whole night, literally not doing anything, I was fatigued as well. There was high intense of anxiety. I was experiencing a lot of social anxiety. I could not go out. Like going out to just see people, it was very hard for me. I could feel the anxiety in my body, literally in my bones. I could feel it. And so I had to understand those symptoms and ask myself, okay, fine. If this is where I'm at, what change do I want? And I wanted to be happy because I wasn't happy anymore. And I had to now give myself those things, so I had to feed myself happiness by reading books, by taking walks. I read the Bible like nobody's business. I prayed like nobody's business. And even though at times I couldn't even pray and I couldn't even understand what I was reading on my Bible, I understand what God was hearing me and was hearing my heart at the time, that I am seeking Him and I'm seeking His healing and nobody else's healing but His. And so I'm grateful for that moment, to be honest, because it was humbling for me to actually know God's presence in my life, even though I was going through that and I couldn't see Him and I couldn't hear Him. Now when I look back and I'm like, actually He was there. He was talking to me, He was comforting me, and the tears I was crying at the time, it was Him releasing the pain. You understand? It was Him letting go of the things I was holding on to, the things that I felt they were giving me identity. He was like, no, I want you to experience these things so that the new person that is about to come out is no longer connected to those things. And so I went through that process. It was not easy. It wasn't an easy road. I'm still on it. I'm still on that journey. I'm still on that process. But I'm grateful for it because it gave me a different perspective. And it gave me a different perspective, even also with others, to also have empathy for others. When they go through certain things, you actually understand because you went through it yourself. You get what I mean? So you go with it with caution. You know how to handle this matter because you went through it as well.
Yeah, man, this story is very powerful, man. And as you were talking, I was asking myself a question, and I want to ask this question to you. You said your story is very powerful and it can change a lot of lives. Kids that are going through a lot of depression and a lot of things, right? So do you consider yourself as a mental health activist?
I think I'm working towards that. I've never seen that. I don't want to lie. But I think when I was going through what I went through and still going through it now, I asked God, why do I have to be the one that is going through all of this? And then His response was to me, so that you will know how to handle it when you see it from somebody else. And so I can't sympathize with you or give you empathy when I don't even understand what you're going through. Do you get what I'm saying? So I'm trying to have my bit of my punches so that I can know how to speak to somebody else who is experiencing the same punches that I had. So that the conversation will be of understanding.
So I wanted to ask you, to going back to GBV, to gender-based violence, do you think sentencing people to go to prison is enough to correct the mistake or whatever they've done to the woman? Do you think it can be a male as well? Do you think it's enough? Because now, like, there's therapy as mentioned before, but I don't feel like prison is enough. You understand? There's nothing to learn there. He might come back the same person because nothing was done to address the problem. You understand?
True.
So I'm like, I want to ask you, do you think that is enough? Or do you think maybe if there's prison and at the same time there's facilities within the prison that make sure like this person is getting proper help, as far as therapy, talking about, like trying to uncover and see where was the problem as far as like, the relationship with the better halves or whatever the case. Do you think like prison is enough? I think let's start there.
It's not enough, because even when they go there, they're gonna the others even come out baby. So
yes,
it's not enough. When they come out, they're even more damaged. They are even more angry than before, and then they're gonna do it to the next person as well. So as you said, that there should be legal implementation within the prison that is going to help, which I do believe there is, but I don't think it's effective. You understand?
Yeah.
I don't think it's effective enough to say that there is change, because there are other people that when they come out of prison, there's definitely change. They are reflecting. They understand that what they did was it wasn't them, it was the situation or who they were at the time, and then they've reflected and they come out as a new person. But others, they come out 10 times worse than how they got in. And so I think this is, it's a personal journey. This thing is a personal journey. Somebody else can help you up until a certain point. But you yourself, until you tell yourself that I want to change, I don't want to live this way anymore. As a person, definitely change will come. But there should be more legal implementation in terms of that. Within the prison, there should be that facilities where there is counseling and everything, so that somebody else understands the wrong that they did, because others, they don't really they don't comprehend the what just happened.
Yeah. So NALEDI, I think your story as far as like mental health is very powerful, and I wanted to ask you this question to say, like, knowing what you know about yourself now, what would you tell your younger self?
Oh, Tejo, why did you go there? Dang. You know what? I never thought this question would come now. I was expecting it maybe in 5 years, but not now.
Yeah. Yes.
But
why though? Like, why 5 years? Why in 5 years?
I don't know, because I think I don't know. I just didn't think it would be anytime soon, because I actually do have those conversations with my younger self, to be honest. Yeah, but I never thought I would be in a space of talking about it with somebody else. I was maybe looking at it in like maybe a spectrum of 5 years. But hey, God and His ways. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey.
So what I would tell her is that it's okay, right? And what you are feeling and experiencing is valid, because I think sometimes I got angry at myself for experiencing emotions that I didn't understand, right? And so now I'll tell her that I understand those emotions, and those emotions were to teach me, or they were protecting me from the unknown, right? What I was experiencing at the time, it was valid for me to experience them. And an important one I would say is that I'm happy. You understand?
Mm.
I think for the longest time, she didn't understand what happiness meant. Her happiness was through other people. But then I think now I would tell her that I'm okay, I'm doing well, I'm happy, and we are doing amazing in terms of we know ourselves, we love ourselves, we are doing way better than what we expected and what the world was throwing at us, and we're like, we turned those around, and we used those as our superpowers. And I would say nice things to her, to be honest, because I think she was scared for a very long time.
So
I think she was scared for a very long time.
So like, how do you define self-healing to yourself? Because I think self-healing means a lot of different things to a lot of people, but it means to NALEDI.
Yeah, you know what? I tell people that when I went through depression, I self-medicated. So I didn't necessarily go to the doctor and got diagnosed. I mean, they gave me antidepressants and whatever. No, but what I did is that I gave myself what I needed. So I took a walk. I stayed outside, stood outside in the sun. I read books. I took long showers. I took long baths. I stayed in bed when I needed to. I cried when I needed to. And I think I cried. I don't want to lie, but I was releasing. You understand? I was releasing, and that was part of healing. Is that, and I'm still healing. I think if now, at the time, it was last year. This whole incident I'm talking about, it was last year, and it was last year. I didn't understand. I don't want to lie. I didn't understand that it was depression, and so I had to learn and study about what depression is and how to get out of it, and talk myself out of it as well. I had to talk myself out of it, because it's fine, you can stay in the dark, but don't stay there for too long, because that place might end up being your home. You get what I mean? And so I didn't want that place to be my home, but I think I needed to go through it to understand it and know its characteristics so that I don't go back to it again.
Okay, thank you for the answers. Well, I think we are headed to a break, so when we come back, we do have a game for you when we come back.
Oh, nice.
I'll have a game and 2-3 questions from the guests. The regulars. I won't say anything, but I can say Tiamo's name. Tiamo is one of the guests who often. We're supposed to also have Miss World South Africa top Miss World South Africa finalist joining us in the call, but they couldn't because they have an interview with Metro FM, so she couldn't. So I just had to highlight that. The apologies as well,
No,
so I think so for those of you who just joined us on the line, we have NALEDI. She is Miss Bachelorette South Africa 2024 semi-finalist. When we come back, we are going to play a game with her. Stay tuned.
Yes.
Welcome back to Backroom Convos. I'm your host, the Daddy Waddy Corn, aka Shoot Your Shot, and maybe you might get a chance to call me Daddy like Cairo. Listen, on the line we have NALEDI TEFFO. We've had it for the past 1 hour 5 minutes. I think now, I don't know what the time is now, but we've had it for north of an hour, I believe. We've had spoken about a lot of things concerning mental health and GBV and SA, and her journey as Miss Bachelorette South Africa semi-finalist for 2024. We've been asking a question.
Yeah.
you know. So these are like some of the questions that came through from friends of our podcast. One was like, NALEDI as a business as well, like how does she balance Slipknot and pageantry as well?
The nice thing about balancing that is that Miss Bachelorette is saying be that. Be independent, you understand? And so I'm like, I need to do more instead of just chilling and trying to focus on the pageant alone. But it's quite hard to balance the two. It's not only the business, but then with life as well. But when you love what you do, you will give it your best. And also with Miss Bachelorette South Africa, I love being part of the brand and what they stand up for. And so it's not hard for me to balance it. It is difficult. I think nothing in life should be easy, but it's quite tricky. But with support, with friends that are encouraging you and saying, hey, we are rooting for you, we are vouching for you, it gives encouragement. It does give encouragement.
Okay, I hear you. So this is the following question. I'm just reading out these questions. I don't know if these people are listening or were listening, but I'll just read them out for you. So the next question is, how do you plan to work with local organizations and charities to give back to the community?
Yes,
she says, when you are the queen. This is for when you are the queen.
Yeah. I love that thing.
I receive on your behalf. I'm saying I receive on your behalf.
Amen.
Yeah, so
I also.
Amen.
You know what? If God will, if God will.
Yeah.
I don't think this is to answer that. I don't think it should only be because I am a reigning queen, but I want to do it because it's who I am. It's part of my journey. Do you understand? Being queen will be a physical representation of my hard work and what I'm standing up for. Do you get what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think I will wait till I become queen for me to implement these. But what I would love to do is to make sure that each and every community, especially in my hometown, they have skill development centers, because I do believe in empowering young boys and girls and creating skill development centers or youth centers where children can go and learn a skill, learn art, create. It will be an empowering space for them to know who they are and discover what they love about themselves and work towards that. Because I think the reason why also we are experiencing gender-based violence is because there isn't enough empowering spaces for women or for children for them to know themselves and to be able to be independent, because oftentimes the victims, they depend on the perpetrators. And so we need to make sure that we don't give perpetrators the platform, you understand? So these kids need to grow up and knowing that I can go and acquire a skill here, I can I can learn a hobby, I can learn about myself, I can learn about independence, I can learn about mental health, so that I can learn more about myself as well. So I want to create that space. I really want to create that space. And I'm not going to wait till I become queen, but it would be amazing, to also do that while I am the reigning queen. But I don't think this is the journey to, you wait until you become that and then you can act. No, I think it's time to act now. I have the stash, the stash is enough, so I think that's how I would answer that.
Okay, so the next question is, how important has self-talk been in your journey?
Oh, imperative, like great, like crucial. Crucial, like you need self-talk. You need to talk yourself out of situations, talk yourself in situations, you understand? Because sometimes we doubt ourselves. Even with Miss Bachelorette South Africa, I don't want to lie, I'm experiencing a lot of doubt, but it is how I speak to myself that reminds me of who I am. It's how I speak to myself, how kind I am, the words I give myself, and also talking myself out of a situation. If I find myself going to a direction where it's not good for me, I'm like, NALEDI, this isn't what God has planned for us. This isn't for us. This is not for you. So get out. So self-talk is important. Everybody needs to know their own voice.
Wow. Okay. No, I hear you. Next question. Can you tell us about a role model or influential figure who has inspired you in your journey, in your pageantry journey?
I have. That's a tricky one.
But tell me about it. Why is it tricky?
Because I never actually saw myself, enter a pageant. This is my first pageant ever, and I went in it because of what they are standing up for, right? And if it wasn't for gender-based violence and femicide, I don't think I would have applied.
Yeah.
But a role model, I think it's all the women around me. I don't want to specify. I think my sister is playing a part in who I am. Both my sisters are playing a part in who I am. The women in church, women in my community, my mom, all the public figures that I'm listening to, the pastors that I'm listening to on social media, Sarah Jakes, Roberts, Priscilla. There's so many that I look up to that I'm making an impact in my life. I don't want to box it into one person because I think it's a collective of information that is making, building who I am.
Okay.
It's a collection of women.
Yeah. Okay. I see you. This is the last question. I think I'll take the last question, Israel. So this is the last question. Last question is, what are your personal goals and aspirations beyond the pageantry world?
I want people to see me and know that anything is possible in life. Whatever it is, whatever circumstances that you're going through, whatever your journey, anything in life is possible. Long as you believe in yourself, you put your mind into the process, you stick through the process, because I think a lot of us don't want to stick through the process. We want to see results. I want people to see me and say, I want to be like her. And yeah, I want to be like her in terms of being kind, being nice, being compassionate, being respectful, being humble. In terms of that, those are my goals. I really want to acquire those qualities too, because I think more than anything else, at the end of the day, we're all going to be parents, and I want my children to see kindness in me, to see empathy in me, to see all these beautiful qualities in me. And so I am working on building that, and not only for my children, but for everybody else to see me and see those qualities. So those are my goals.
Thank you for the beautiful answers, NALEDI. Really enjoyed the interview. I really enjoyed the interview. So game, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I almost ended the show. So the game is okay. The game is Smash or Pass.
You must why that is a Smash or Pass.
It's a game. Yes. It's a game.
Okay.
So the first one is Smash or Pass, Chris Hemsworth.
Oh my God. Yeah, Mina. Okay. All of these things will be passed.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, Jennifer Anderson, Smash or Pass. I like her. Jennifer Anderson.
Smash.
Idris is everyone's type. Idris Elba.
Okay, Smash.
Michael B. Jordan.
Smash, but with the beard, because without the beard,
Ne? Zendaya.
Oh, damn, Smash.
Jason Momoa.
TikTok needs to help you on this one. I think, should I say smash? Ooh, TikTok. What would TikTok say? I think smash.
Smash, okay.
That's what it's TikTok.
So for the TikTok, ne? Tom Hardy. This is the Spider-Man thing, ne? That is there.
Yeah.
So Tom Hardy.
No, none of these people are my type, so
Yeah.
I'll say smash. I'll say smash.
Next, Chris Evans. They look like, I think Chris Hemsworth and Chris Evans. They look similar, yeah, when they have that thing are they brothers, but this is just me. Chris Evans.
Yeah, this one. Now I'm answering for my TikTok people. I'll say smash. Now I'm answering for my TikTok.
Hailey Berry.
You know what? Okay, it's a smash. She's pretty.
Brad Pitt. I think Brad is the last. Brad Pitt.
It's a smash.
That one is not for TikTok. That one.
It's for TikTok.
Hi. Only
things are for TikTok.
Okay, nice.
I'm not blessing the Lord. It's for TikTok.
And no, I appreciate you, NALEDI, for joining us on this podcast, man. And I will give a listen to your podcast, The Journey with NALEDI TEFFO. The Journey with NALEDI TEFFO. So let's start and listen to that, Spotify. And I don't know if it's on Apple yet, but Spotify.
Yes, on
Apple, yeah, for sure. Just go on Spotify, NALEDI TEFFO, The Journey with NALEDI TEFFO. I'm so sorry about it. So NALEDI, thank you again. I think we really learned a lot about GBV and mental health awareness. I personally didn't know a lot about, Miss Bachelorette. You kind of schooled me, because I was a bit confused as to what's going on.
Yeah, we gotta school everywhere we go, right?
Yeah, I think that was important because I was in the dark for a bit about it. But yeah, other than that, man, good luck. We'll be rooting for you for sure. And for the people who want to vote for you, I think can you please send me the link team, the link.
Yes, I'll do
that. Include that in the bio. For people who want to go and vote, the link will be on the bio of this particular episode with NALEDI TEFFO. So yeah, for those of you who haven't followed, subscribe. Please do that to get a notification for each and every time we drop a new episode. Let's meet on another amazing episode with another amazing guest. We did 5 episodes this week for the past 2 weeks. We're in the road to 100 million. So 100 million, 100 episodes. So appreciate you. And we were ranking in Botswana as well. Shout out to the people in Botswana, in the US. Shout out to Gabo. I know she was part of the people that side who were listening. And yeah, I appreciate you all. Appreciate you, NALEDI, and all the best, man. Let's meet on another amazing one. Cheers.
Yeah, thank you so much. And big ups to you as well. I love it when I see one of us, me and you doing these amazing. Yeah, I love it when I saw this and I was like, wow, this is amazing, From where we started and where we are now, I'm happy for the both of us.
I'm also happy. Yeah. I'm also happy. So for people who want to follow you on social media,
yes. So for Instagram it's NALEDI NALEDI.T_. And then on Facebook it's NALEDI TEFFO. TEFFO is TEFFO.
Okay, so no Snapchat, nothing.
Now let's leave that one.
No, okay. No, I really enjoyed, guys. I really enjoyed.
Yeah, thank you. So, likewise.
Cheers.
Cheers. Bye. Thank you, everyone, for listening.